Oh wow, this is an amazing honor. To be inducted as the first UNI Panther athlete is just speaks volumes to my accomplishments as a student athlete, because there's been some tremendous talent that's come through the University of Northern Iowa. The first thing I'd like to do is thank the MVC Hall of Fame committee. For the selection here tonight or today. I also want to thank my family. One of the reasons, probably the main reason I had all the success I had throughout my career, from high school through college and then all the way through my professional career, is because of the support I had. I always felt like I already had a big edge on everybody else because I had such great support. That includes my wife, who I met at UNI. She was also a student athlete, a 400-meter runner. My son, Drake, who you got a chance to see me carry him. One of my greatest moments at the Drake Relays was to be able to carry my son around the track in a victory lap. My daughter, Isabel, who's now really getting excited about running as well. And also my parents. My parents went to about every track and field event imaginable. They traveled all across the country throughout my career, never missed a Drake Relays, never missed a conference championship. And again, without that support, I don't know how much success I would have had. I also want to thank the UNI family. People like Troy Dannon, Steve Gerhardt, who you got a chance to listen to. People like Noreen Hermanson, President Allen, and also Bill Calhoun are all here tonight. It's again, the support at UNI is amazing. As you can see, too, I think a lot of my success was a tribute to the facilities that UNI was able to provide. When you go to UNI, you think about the Unidome, and you walk into that facility and you're blown away with the type of facility it is. I ended up signing to come to UNI. I didn't even think about the fact that at that time they didn't even have an outdoor track. So they they kind of blew me away with this beautiful indoor facility. And little been known to me, we walk outside for outdoor track. It's like, okay, where are we going now? And so, but fortunately, through great fundraising and everything, they were able to put together a beautiful outdoor facility towards the end of my career that I got a chance to run on my senior year as I was preparing to go out and try and win a national championship. My success is also a great tribute to coaches like Chris Bucknam and Bill Lawson. I was recruited really heavily by more local schools, but the thing about UNI that attracted me was the people. When I went to UNI on my first visit, I got a chance to walk around with one of the student athletes, just a really nice guy that took me around, and what I liked about it was the coaches were down to earth, young, energetic guys that really loved track and field, and you could see the passion within them. And the other thing that's pretty amazing is at that time you only had two coaches. Now we can have up to three coaches, but you had two coaches. You had a track coach and you had a field event coach. And the energy and passion that they had for what they wanted to do at UNI was amazing. Coach Bucknam now is at Arkansas having a lot of success, and I just want to give a great tribute to him and what he was able to provide for me throughout my career as a student athlete through UNI, and then also post-collegiately as an athlete at the professional level. Also, Jim Bush. Jim Bush is a Hall of Fame coach from UCLA. I called Jim. I was kind of struggling for a year or two, and I called Jim up and I said, hey, I feel like I just need to try something new, try something a little bit different. And he welcomed me to come out to L.A. And train with him every once in a while, and just gave a lot of great feedback to me to help me kind of advance my career. And at that time, I went from being ranked 22nd in the world in the 400 hurdles, and within 1 year I was fifth at the world in the worlds. In the next year, I won a silver medal at the World Championships. That time I was 31, which is a little bit older in the sport of track and field to be in your 30s and to be able to win your first individual medal at the World Championships. So I want to give a great thanks to Coach Bush as well. The experience I had at UNI is second to none. Not only as an athlete, but also as a student. The people that are at the University of Northern Iowa are great people, great professors, and everybody that gave me the true UNI experience. It was a great choice for me to choose to go to UNI. I remember sitting at our dining table with my parents when at that time you could actually hand deliver the letter of intent. So Coach Bucknam and Coach Lawson came down to my house. At that time, they had offered me about 60%. I was still kind of thinking about what I wanted to do. they showed up to my door with a full ride. When an athlete in high school, when they hear the sound of a full ride, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I've kind of arrived, I've really made it. And so they showed up to my door. Well, at that time, like I said, they could hand deliver the letter of intent and kind of sit around until you decide what you're going to do. So we're sitting there, we're talking. I'm like, okay, this is pretty awesome. I also had a bunch of phone calls kind of during that time from other coaches while they're still in my house. And Coach Buck and Law goes, well, if you want to think about it a little bit, we'll just go outside and we'll wait for a little while. So it gave me an opportunity to call up my high school track coach, who's another phenomenal coach, Coach John Raffensperger. When you kind of look through my history as a student athlete, and that's why I love what I do as a coach now. The coaches I had throughout my career is pretty amazing. I've been blessed with amazing coaches that really love track and field and have a passion for this sport. Coach John Raffensperger was a former UNI athlete when it was Iowa State Teachers College. He's also in the UNI Panther Hall of Fame. And now he's my volunteer coach at Iowa, so I get to kind of boss him around a little bit. But he gave me an opportunity to call him up, bring him over, and then we kind of talked about what we wanted to do. And all that time I could see my dad getting excited because he's clicking the pen back and forth, back and forth. He's ready to sign. He sees that scholarship. So we were excited, and, like I said, it was a blessing because UNI was definitely the right place for me as a student, and to be able to go there. And obviously, I met my wife and had a very successful career. Just a couple of stories. My success, had its ups and downs just like everybody else. I came in my senior year of high school. I never won a state championship as an athlete. The main reason for that is I was in a car crash going into the state championships. 2 weeks out, I was in a car crash. I just broke the school record in the 800 meters, the first time I ever ran it. And 2 days later, I'm in a car crash. But I was able to go and watch my team still compete to win that event. Well, my goal going to UNI was the first meet I wanted to break the school record in the 600 meters. Because I wanted to prove to everybody that I was deserving of that full scholarship, that I was deserving to be a Division I athlete. And no matter what I was out, I lost 20 pounds, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. No matter what, I was going to prove right away that I was meant to be here. And I was able to accomplish that goal. We sat down at the beginning of the year, and we talked about what we wanted to accomplish. We always talk about goals. And the biggest thing that I remember writing down was, I always thought it was cool. You go to the Drake relays, and the announcers are awesome. And they say, All-American in lane 6, the All-American from Northern Iowa is. So I thought, wow, that would be pretty cool to be an All-American. So I wrote down that I wanted to be an All-American. Well, Coach Bill Lawson, our assistant coach, who's now the head coach at Kent State University, came up to me and he looked at my sheet. He said, wow, that's a pretty big goal. And he goes, well, if you can be an All-American, why can't you be a national champion? And he goes, I was an All-American. And so I kind of looked at him like, shoot, if you're an All-American, I can definitely be a national champion. So I crossed that out, wrote down I was going to be an NCAA champion. And yes, it did take me 5 years to graduate. So 5 years later, I was able to win that national championships and to become the first Panther to win an NCAA title. It was all about setting the goal and having the coaches that really believed in me and to put the training together. And again, it was just the hard work, the dedication, the commitment to that. And by writing that goal down, it's easy to write a goal down, but right after he said that, and then right after I wrote that down, he said, now you have to sign your name to that. It's just like a mortgage. You can't sign your name and just forget about it. Well, some people might, but it's very important to commit yourself to that. And when I wrote my goal down, I signed my name to it. I knew that, hey, I'm going to do everything I could to reach that goal. And with all the blessings and everything I've had, and the hard work and the dedication, I was able to accomplish that goal. That was through a lot of ups and downs throughout my career, but I'm very fortunate to have the success I had. Another story real quick is we took a 58-hour trip to Florida State one year. That was during spring break. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever driven to Florida, but it usually doesn't take 58 hours. We actually got in vans. Even one van didn't even have any back seats in it, so this is back in the old days when we used to drive vans. Even student athletes used to drive vans back then. It took us 58 hours because we were caught in the storm of 1993, a winter storm on our way down. So you think back to those things back then, and you think about what it took to be a student athlete back then and what it is today. It's a little bit different. But those experiences that I had as a UNI Panther really helped me today as a coach, because I can tell my kids, hey, you might be tired and cranky and sitting in the airport for a couple of hours. Do you know I took a 58-hour trip? And I don't have to exaggerate about it. So, those experiences were pretty amazing. And obviously, winning the NCAA title was probably the highlight of my career. Throughout my, even my winning a gold medal at the World Championships, breaking a world record in the 4x8 relay after college, and also, being a silver medalist at the World Championships in the 400 hurdles. Out of all those things, I would always say that the NCAA title is probably the most meaningful, because I was able to wear the uniform and the colors of my university, and I set that 5-year goal, and I was committed to that for 5 years. And to be able to come out on top with probably the most stellar field in the 400 hurdles maybe ever assembled was definitely something I'm very thankful for. So I want to say congrats to all the other inductees, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.